You think she's confusing because women don't know what they want. But the truth is, you're confusing because you keep translating her words instead of reading her behavior. You're not dealing with a mystery. You're dealing with a code you refuse to accept. What she does is the message. What she says is often the packaging. Listen, this isn't about hating women. This is about respecting yourself. Because the fastest way to lose your spine is to build your life around decoding somebody else's mood. And if you need more of this kind of truth, straight, clean, no coping, subscribe now. Not because I need a number, because you need repetition. You need reminders. You need the kind of voice that pulls you back to reality when your feelings start negotiating against your self-respect. Here's the thesis. These lies aren't always calculated deception. A lot of the time, they're emotional language. They're what she says when she doesn't want conflict, doesn't want guilt, doesn't want to look like the bad guy, or doesn't fully understand her own shift in attraction yet. And what they really mean is simple. Her interest is either rising, stable, or dying. And you can tell which one by what happens next. So, let's climb the ladder. Misconception first. You believe if you just find the right words, the right timing, the right amount of effort, you can earn certainty. Hard truth. Attraction doesn't get negotiated, it gets revealed. Root cause. You've been trained to chase clarity from someone who benefits from keeping it blurry. Cost. You lose time, you lose focus, you lose your edge, and you start acting like a man asking for permission to be chosen. Reframe. You stop auditioning. You start selecting. Now let's talk about the lies women tell men and what they actually mean, so you can stop taking everything personally and start taking your life seriously. I'm just really busy right now. You hear that and you think, okay, she's overwhelmed. I'll be patient. I'll be supportive. I'll wait in the hallway of her life until she lets me in. But what it usually means is this: you are not a priority. Not today. Not this week. Not in the way you want. Busy doesn't block desire. Desire cuts through busy. People text back from the bathroom. People make time between meetings. People find 30 seconds when they actually care. That's called priority truth. And it's brutal because it doesn't require hatred or drama. It requires acceptance. Why does it happen? Because I'm busy is socially clean. It's the polite fog. It's a way to step back without saying, I don't want you like that. She avoids being the villain. You avoid the sting. Everybody gets to pretend. But the cost to you is massive. You stay on standby. You keep your calendar open. You keep your mind occupied with her. You start performing. You start checking your phone like a teenager. You stop being dangerous. Reframe it. When she says she's busy, you respect it. You don't argue. You don't punish. You don't beg. You simply match energy and move forward with your life. If she wants you, she'll create space. If she doesn't, she'll create distance. Either way, you stop hovering. I'm not ready for a relationship. Men hear that and think, okay, she's healing, she's cautious, she's afraid. I'll prove I'm different. I'll be the exception. But what it often means is, I'm not ready for a relationship with you. Read that again. With you. Because if the right man shows up, right timing, right frame, right presence, suddenly she's ready. Suddenly she's never felt this way. Suddenly she's deleting apps. Suddenly she's introducing him to people. That's called selective readiness. And it's not evil. It's human nature. Why does she say it that way? Because it protects her image. It sounds mature. It sounds responsible. It avoids a direct rejection that could trigger your anger or her guilt. And what does it cost you? It costs you your dignity when you try to negotiate, when you try to be her therapist, when you try to be her savior, when you try to weight her into wanting you reframe. You don't compete with her past. You don't compete with her trauma. You don't compete with her confusion. You only deal in mutual desire. If she's not ready, you respect it and you walk, not with bitterness, with backbone. I just need some space. You think it means give her a little room and she'll miss me and then everything will go back to normal. Sometimes it does mean she's overwhelmed and needs to breathe. But most of the time, when attraction is unstable, space is a soft exit ramp. What it actually means is your presence is starting to feel like pressure, and pressure kills attraction. Here's where you need to be honest about your own behavior. Are you texting too much? Are you demanding reassurance? Are you acting like her mood is your oxygen supply? Are you treating her like the center of your day instead of a part of your life? Because women don't ask for space when they feel safe and inspired. They ask for space when they feel crowded, uncertain, or turned off. That's called emotional claustrophobia. The root cause is usually the same. You made her your purpose. You took a woman and promoted her into a role she never applied for, and now she can feel the weight of it. Cost. You become needy without saying the word. You start bargaining. You start sending paragraphs. You start checking in. You start apologizing for existing. Reframe. Space is not a punishment. It's information. You give it calmly, completely. You don't chase. You don't hover. You return to your mission. And if she comes back, she returns to a man who didn't collapse. You're such a nice guy. You think that's a compliment. You think it means you're safe, you're good, you're what she should want. But what it usually means is you're not polarizing, you're not leading, you're not stirring desire. Nice is not the problem. Weak nice is the problem, because nice guy often means you're trading kindness for validation. You're being polite with an invoice. You're doing favors hoping she'll pay you with attraction, and she can feel that hidden transaction. That's called covert contracts. Root cause. You're afraid to be disliked. You're afraid to say what you want. You're afraid to set terms. So you become agreeable, helpful, available, and then you resent her when it doesn't work. Cost. You become the man she vents to about the man she actually wants. You become the emotional support boyfriend with none of the respect, and that will rot you from the inside. Reframe, keep the kindness, delete the neediness. Be good, but be dangerous. Have standards, have boundaries, be willing to walk away. Nice plus backbone is rare and rare is attractive. I don't want to ruin our friendship. What it means is I like the attention, the support, the companionship, but I don't feel that pull for you. And you need to hear this without spiraling because friendship is not a consolation prize when you want intimacy. If you stay, you're agreeing to emotional self-harm in installments. That's called voluntary suffering. Why does she say it? Because she gets to keep the benefits without the responsibility. She gets warmth without commitment, validation without risk. You become her safe place while she explores desire elsewhere. Cost. You waste months, sometimes years. You watch her date. You tell yourself you're mature, but you're just afraid of losing access. Reframe. You don't punish her. You don't insult her. You simply tell the truth. You wanted more. If she doesn't, you step back. Clean, respectful, final. I'm just not that emotional. Translation. I'm not that emotionally invested. A woman who's into you becomes emotional. Not dramatic, but engaged, curious, present, responsive. She asks questions, she follows up, she leans in, she makes herself known. When she's not emotional, what you're experiencing is low attachment, low desire, low urgency. That's called emotional minimalism. Root cause, she's unsure, or you're one of many options, or you're the maybe she keeps around while she waits for a yes. Cost? You overfunction, you carry the conversation, you plan everything. You give more than you get, and you start calling that masculine. No, that's not masculine. That's unbalanced. Reframe. Masculinity is not overgiving. Masculinity is leadership with self-respect. If the energy isn't mutual, you don't force it. You redirect. I'm fine. This one destroys men because it's a trap disguised as peace. What it actually means is I'm not fine and I don't trust you enough to be vulnerable right now, or I'm testing whether you'll lead the emotional frame. Some women say, I'm fine because they're immature and want you to chase. Some say it because they're scared of conflict. Some say it because you've reacted badly in the past, so now they hide. So what do? You stop trying to win the argument with logic. You stop interrogating. You stop getting defensive. That's called emotional leadership. You create safety without becoming a doormat. You say calmly, I hear you. If something's off, I'm here. If you need time, take it. And then you watch what happens. Does she return with honesty, or does she weaponize silence? Because here's the contrast. Presence builds, silence erodes, reality clarifies, fantasy confuses. I'm not like other girls. Men fall for this because it sounds like loyalty, like uniqueness, like you found a rare one. What it often means is I'm selling you an identity, so you'll lower your standards. That's called preemptive immunity. It's the attempt to be exempt from accountability before accountability is even required. A woman who's truly different doesn't announce it. She demonstrates it through consistency, through character, through how she treats people when she's upset, through how she handles boundaries, through how she speaks about her past. Reframe. Don't fall in love with claims. Fall in love with patterns. Now let me give you the archetype because you need a picture in your mind of who you're becoming. The man who wins in this world is not the loudest. He's not the prettiest. He's not the one performing masculinity for approval. He's grounded. He wakes up with direction. His day already has a spine before any woman enters it. He doesn't chase mixed signals because his life is not a waiting room. He doesn't fear losing someone who is unsure about him because he's not unsure about himself. He listens, but he doesn't absorb chaos. He's warm, but he's not porous. He can be affectionate without being addicted. When a woman pulls away, he doesn't panic. He observes. When she tests, he doesn't rage. He holds frame. When she lies, he doesn't argue. He just adjusts access. That's called self-respect in motion. He's not bitter. He's not naive. He's calibrated. And here's the best part. Women don't actually crave a man who's easy to control. They crave a man who's hard to move off his center because your center is what makes them feel safe. So what do you do starting today? Not someday, today? You stop treating words like proof. You stop treating chemistry like compatibility. You stop treating attention like commitment. You start watching patterns. You start listening for consistency. You start asking one question that will save you years. Does her behavior match her mouth? You stop sending paragraphs. You stop chasing closure. You stop trying to be understood by someone committed to misunderstanding you. You redirect your energy into what makes you respectable to you. Your body, your money, your craft, your mission, your brotherhood, your discipline. Because when you have a full life, you don't beg for a fraction of someone else's. And when you communicate, you do it clean. You say what you want once clearly, calmly, no theatrics. You set the standard once respectfully. You enforce it by action, not lectures. If she's busy, you say, no worries. Reach out when you're free and you mean it. If she's not ready, you say, I respect that, and you walk. If she wants space, you give it fully and you don't punish her with passive aggression. If she offers friendship when you want romance, you exit with dignity. Because the goal isn't to win her. The goal is to win you back. Let me hit you with the hard truth that most men avoid. A lot of your pain isn't coming from women. It's coming from your refusal to accept reality the first time it introduces itself. You keep reopening a door that's closing. You keep negotiating a maybe. You keep asking for clarity from someone who enjoys keeping you available. And you call it love. It's not love. It's fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of starting over. Fear that this is the best you can do. That's called scarcity identity. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. So, here's your identity reset. You don't need to be chosen to be valuable. You need to be aligned to be powerful. You are not a resume begging for approval. You are a man building a life. And the right woman isn't the prize at the end of your suffering. She's the complement to your purpose when your purpose is already alive. You are the answer. Not her text, not her mood, not her validation. You. And if this hit you, subscribe because you don't need more entertainment. You need more clarity. You need more truth that cuts through the noise when you're tired, when you're lonely, when you're tempted to chase what doesn't choose you back. You're not alone in this. There's a whole community of men rebuilding their standards, their discipline, and their self-respect. One decision at a time. Stay here. We don't cope. We don't beg. We become.